Hello, this is Walker at the Thomas Podcast here today I'm joined with Gallifrey for 97, Rees
Hello,
Marshall.
everyone. Gallifrey from 97 here.
And
Yeah,
today
that's
we're
a
not reviewing some
cameo.
figures. A cameo, there you go. How are you, mate? You all right?
I'm pretty good, thank you. Yeah, obviously we're both on the post end of LFCC, so I think we're
Yeah.
back. We left. This was it was a week ago today. How crazy is that?
It's gone by really quick. There is a vlog coming out, by the way. I've just been working and busy, and I'm now editing for work. So the one thing I don't want to do when I finish work is start editing again because I really don't like Premiere Pro anymore. It makes me want to cry. So
Finish editing for the day. Edit more.
yeah, no, it's like no, I want to continue my Stranger Things watch on mute. So
What
no,
context?
I've been watching. So because I'm a little scaredy boy, I watch Stranger Things on mute half the time.
So have you had this? Oh, what I was going to say. But how you
But
find it though?
I'm really enjoying it. By the way, I don't watch it on mute. I'm watching it on like very low volume at certain
Oh,
points,
okay.
but I really enjoy it. I think it's fun. I'm only 2 episodes in, but I'm enjoying it.
Oh, you love the rest of it. You love the rest of
But
it.
obviously, yeah, you say we're at LFCC, a really fun event, despite what some people say on socials. Quickly, who is your favourite guest to meet? Who'd you like chatting to?
Maybe Janet Fielding.
Not Jimmy V.
Yeah, bless Jimmy V. Yeah, I know
We
he was bad, but
we
I'm not
we stand Jimmy V here.
stand Jimmy V. Yeah, bless.
I love that man so much. No, I think for
How's
me,
yours? Yeah.
there's two because I think talking. I mean, look, three really. Eric Roberts on his own little level of just absolute madness and
Yeah, he was great.
gloriousness. But for me, I think Arthur Darvill was the big one. Like I told the man I loved him, and he was very nice about it, very chill. But yeah, and then
Alex, when
also
he went to go meet his autograph, it wasn't recorded, but you
I did.
just let your heart out. You
I
let your
did.
heart. No,
Yeah,
no, it was
I,
nice.
I
You just went, I love you,
no,
Zero. No, no,
yeah.
no.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and I have to give credit to Stephen Amell for being an absolute god tier human being and just being the sweetest man on the planet. And
That's
yeah,
the thing I don't agree with Show Masters with. I know I don't know if you want to say what else happened, but it's like,
yeah.
but he
Well,
but
it's just
he overcame their obstacles.
yeah. There was he did a free autograph for my nan. That's all I'll say. And there were
Yeah.
some, at least from what I could pick up on, some looks from the Showmasters like you gonna pay for that or not, and you could tell that was but there was no big exchange or whatever. Also, David Bradley was really kind. I didn't get a chance to have an autograph at the table, but I was the first person in the photo shoot. So as they were sat with the camera, we had a little chat. Very nice man. Very, very lovely man. And do you know what? I'll wrap it up. Everyone was nice. Do you know? I didn't have a bad
Oh
experience
god,
for the
yeah.
weekend. I
No,
didn't
no,
have a
no,
bad
not at all.
experience. Everyone I met was diamond, and I think at the end of the day, that's what conventions are about. That's why I'm quite lucky because I've yet to, at least since going back to conventions, had a bad experience at all in the slightest. I've not met somebody and gone, well, that was underwhelming. I've not had that yet, thankfully. But yeah, overall, so it was a really good weekend. The vlog will be coming out soon enough, so we will see our initial
Keep your eyes peeled.
reactions to Thor: Love and Thunder, which was in the vlog.
Oh
Um,
yes, yeah.
but yes. Anyway, let's talk about Thor: Love and Thunder. I would ask you about Miss Marvel, but that podcast will be coming out next week, so I don't really want to give any thoughts away because then that would get the. But I'll ask you this quick question about Miss Marvel: thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Fun quarter. Like it's up there, not right up.
Three
All
quarter.
I'll say, all I'll quickly say, just quickly.
Yeah.
I think the best pilot episode for Disney Plus ever, but the plot with the bad people, I lost me. But the family and her character I loved. That was it, basically.
Cool.
So,
Right. Sweet. Let's find out what me and Miss Marvel fanboy Callum MacArthur thinks. And Callum's not watched the show yet, so he's a fanboy of the comics, but I don't think he's watched any episodes yet. So that's kind of exciting.
well, I know they've annoyed a lot of people with the.
Everything annoys people these days. Speaking of which, Thor: Love and Thunder.
Marvel ain't in the good books.
This film is about Thor, and he is having to track down someone called Gore the God Butcher because he wants to kill all the gods. So Thor's like, right, I'm going to get all of the gods together. We're going to team up. We're going to take down Gore. Turns out that the gods are assholes. So the gods are like, nah, mate, we're all right. So instead, he teams up with Valkyrie. He teams up with Korg. He teams up with Stormbreaker. But in fact, he's also got Jane Foster, who is now the mighty Thor. And it turns out that there was some very, sad reveals in there and why that is. But also, just quick note now, spoiler alert, we're going to be talking spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, go watch it.
Pause it, go to a cinema, come back.
Yeah. And that's kind of the film. Can they stop Gore in time? Who knows? Is he going to kill all the gods? Who knows? Anyway, Rees, this film, I would say it's got a mixed to positive reception. I've not seen a review that's like, this film is fucking awful. I've seen a review that's been like, it's just one for me. I'm going to be honest, Rees, this film was exactly for me. I love this film. I had a really good time. Like, I know you're in a similar boat with this one.
Well, like what we said afterwards, we came out of it being like, why are people hating on this? Like it's not full hate, but I've not seen a fully positive review.
Yeah, I've seen reviews that are like, it's fine, but the comedy sort of ruins it, or the comedy's fine, but the story's lacking. Either or, when the elements don't work. For me, this is perfect. Like, not like a perfect film, but it's the perfect version of what this could have been as a comedy sort of interesting sequel in the MCU, but nothing trying to be groundbreaking. It's just a kind of self-contained Thor story, and I think overall it has emotional moments.
Thor adventure.
Except it's good. Unlike some of the other, no offense to some of the other Thor adventures, but no, this one for me works really well. I think all of the cast are brilliant. I think the humor, there is a lot of it, which means there are some misses, but it hits more than it misses for me. I think Gore the God Butcher is incredible. Christian Bale does a phenomenal performance. Natalie Portman finally gets a good, role to do in the universe, and she is fantastic. It's almost like when you give a good actor a good role to do that isn't, oh, I'm the attractive superhero's girlfriend. They can have a really interesting character, and she's brilliant. Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie is also really good. And then Russell Crowe's in the movie, and it's really funny. I just think overall everything works for me, except for one thing, which we'll get into later on. But we'll do a non-spoiler. We'll do like a non-spoiler sort of just generalization first. But yeah, overall, I think this film is one of those that when it comes on Disney Plus, if I'm bored, I think it'll be one of the ones that I rewatch the most because of how fun it is. And it's just kind of, it's not as long as the others. It's not as bogged down in Marvel lore. You can just sort of watch this one in isolation and have a good time.
Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff about the runtime stuff because Doctor Strange was 2 hours and this is 2 hours again. So people wondering if Marvel or Disney Plus's like new thing is like you need to make it 2 hours. So we'll see how Wakanda Forever does. But I came out of it not. I know there's a lot of people said, oh, they want to see more like of Gore the God Butcher, and more like other stuff as well. But I felt like when we got to the fact, I was like, yeah, I've had enough time now. There was a bit where I thought it went a bit too long, but we'll discuss that later on. But yeah, look, no, my overall thoughts, I guess. I didn't love Ragnarok. I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of shade for that, but I thought it was 2 films in one, and it was like it was fighting to be a Thor film, a Taika Waititi film, and I felt like this was like from the get go, I felt like right, this is like Taika Waititi's film. Yeah, just having a lot of fun. Yeah.
I agree with you, Ragnarok. I think higher of it than you do. I really like Ragnarok as a film.
Yeah, I get that it's like very highly praised, but just it wasn't for me. I wasn't like, oh.
I will say this: the flaws in Ragnarok, I think this film fixes. So I prefer this to Ragnarok because the one thing I said with you is the contrasting tones in Ragnarok, where you kind of have the Sakaar stuff, which is really fun, Taika Waititi-esque, a bit of like fun banter. Then you go back to Hela, and Kate Blanchett's brilliant, and so is Carl Urban. They're both great in the movie, but it just kind of contrasts with the fun sort of Sakaar stuff. So whenever you go back to Asgard, you're like, this is boring. Where's my fun Jeff Goldblum with his sex spaceship?
Yeah, so this is more like fully enticing and just kind of like, again, in elements, I was going to say, people say it's obviously gone too far, but no, it's just 2 hours of fun. Just have fun with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's 2 hours. It's a perfect Taika Waititi film because it's 2 hours of fun with a really good heart to the movie.
Emotional kick, yes.
Really, and it's wonderfully done. And I think people are saying that the comedy in those moments kind of lets the lets the impact of those scenes down. But I think the one thing I will say about Taika Waititi is he's a realistic director. I think what we do in real life is whenever we're sad or depressed, we try and crack jokes in those times. I think he writes scenes as if it is real people experiencing it, and obviously Jane in the story, who is, going through cancer, is trying to combat it with jokes and trying to take her mind off it, which some people said was a bit wrong. But I think, and after I can't tell if I was in that position, but I can totally see somebody in that position handling it that way. We've all had things we're worried about or scared about, whether it be, smaller scale, bigger scale. We try to take our mind off it by laughing and having a joke. And I think just the one good thing about Taika Waititi is that he's a very human director. You can see all of his dialogue is purposeful in some way. It's never exposition. If you want to talk about, he's sort of the anti-Chris Chibnall, if you like, where Chris Chibnall will just put words in the script for the sake of it. Whereas Taika Waititi, for every sentence or something could relate to something later on, or a joke normally is funny. There's only a few in here that don't work for me, really. But no, overall, I thought the film was fun. I thought I had one of the best villains really in the MCU, and I'll go that far because I love a compelling villain. And you sort of see Gore's point. I just think it's a really fun film. Like, that's all I'll say about it. It's fun. It's like, it's set out to do what it wants to do. Because I think also a big issue with their Marvel fans is they want every film to change the status quo or something big to happen in it now. It seems like when a film just happens and nothing big happens to forward the MCU storyline, they're like, oh, yeah. So
yeah, like I said, it's a very self-contained, because obviously we had two kind of multiverse films kind of back to back. So I guess maybe people expect that, but I think for Thor, though, I think it leads in the film on a new direction again, which is quite exciting because he's already kind of reinvented the character, which a lot of people complain saying that he's dumbed down and that, but it's like, well, that's what
I love it.
It's great. It's fun. It didn't really work in the first. It worked for the first Thor film, I thought, and then
I didn't. I disagree. I don't think it worked for either of the Thor films. I think he worked in the event. I think he worked in the Avengers quite well because you had a lot of smart people around, so therefore we had some fun and personalities to jump across. But yeah, I think for me though, this is. Obviously, I saw your tweet the other day in terms of MC kind of phase 4 rankings. This easily slots into third for me. Shang-Chi and No Way Home above it. But I think, but those are two top tier Marvel films for me. Like, if we were to rank them, and when we eventually do on the show, those will be high up. They won't be like in the mid pack. Those will be towards the higher echelons. So yeah, I don't need every film to be super important. I actually kind of like it's like Doctor Who. I like the one-off adventures sometimes. I don't need every story to be, like Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror, for example, from series 12. It has nothing to do with the master plot or the Lone Side Man or whatever. It's just doing its own thing, and it's fun. And that's what this is in the grand scheme of things in the Marvel kind of footprint for now. It's not changing anything. It's here to give you a laugh during the summer, and it does that, and it does it really well. I think anyway. So yeah. Let's jump into it now. So proper spoilers. I'll go for the one thing that didn't work for me. I'll see whether you agree. Guardians of the Galaxy didn't need to be in this movie at all, and they're just there as a marketing tool to get more people to go see the movie.
Yeah, well, yeah. I can't do that. I think, well, the way they were kind of the way it was set up, obviously by the end of Avengers Endgame. I thought they'd do more with it, but no, it was only doing it for 5 minutes. Like, they're just there. And
you saw every bit of it in the trailers. Like, there's literally none of it left to the imagination now because you've seen it.
When I saw the trailers, I thought it's going to be a montage, and it was just a montage of.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think it's fine, but I wouldn't have minded it if they weren't in the marketing as much. I think to put them at the forefront of the marketing. And then
at least that's what they're there for. It's hey, guys.
I know why they did it. That doesn't mean I like it. I just think, and Chris Pratt is good when he's there. Whatever I think of Chris Pratt in real life, as Star-Lord, he is very funny, and I can, whatever. But I just wish either they weren't there or they were there. Or people will say, well, how do you bridge him from being away from the Guardians to? But you could just do a montage very quickly and be like, he was once traveling with the Guardians, and you can literally have them in one shot, and that be it. Because that would work with Taika Waititi's humor as well. I think it worked perfectly. But
yeah, they were in it.
They were in it for 15 minutes.
Probably 10
So
minutes,
it's like
wasn't it? Probably nothing.
10.
It's a bit like what they did with Doctor. I think it's very similar to what they did with Doctor Strange, I guess, in Ragnarok. Like,
Yeah, but they
10
didn't market
minutes.
him. They didn't market him as much.
Not as much, no, but he was in the
he was
marketing a
he
bit.
was he was in the trailer for 2 seconds because that kind of sums up his role within the movie.
Yeah.
Unlike in this film where the Guardians were kind of in most of the trailers and a lot of the trailer. I understand why, because it's the least spoilerific part of the film as well. So it's a lot of the stuff you can show without giving away things. But I don't know. I just felt. I mean, look, I thought I'd see more Karen Gillan. That's all it is. That's what it comes down to. I wanted my
There we
Karen
go.
Gillan
There
moment.
we go.
Didn't get it. No,
Truth
I'm
and blood.
taking the make. No, I just thought overall, it's a shame as well because if there wasn't the James Gunn controversy, we probably would have got a Guardians 3 movie with Chris Hemsworth, and that would have been brilliant.
Yeah, I wonder if he makes a cameo in Guardians 3. I doubt
Well,
it.
I doubt it now, but we do know Thor will be returning. Thankfully,
Yes.
And I will say this now. People are saying they've got Thor fatigue. What is that shit? I ain't got Thor fatigue. Thor can be in the MCU for the rest of the time, and I wouldn't care. I think the good thing is now is that like we all thought that all of the OGs would be leaving. Thankfully, Hawkeye didn't die and seems to be going nowhere because I like Hawkeye. I'm like one of the people that does. Hulk is in She-Hulk, and then
it's like
still got Thor kicking around. So it's good to see.
Yeah, no, it'd be cool for Thor. So yeah, like I said, probably in a future Avengers film, and like obviously the first post-credit scene for this does set up Thor 5 quite well. Like he's in for quite a big challenge. But,
Thor 5, more
yeah.
5, yeah.
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 Even more of me.
Even more of me. Now, I thought also need to say as well, I think it just let's go to the other controversial thing in this film, the comedy. What did you make of it? I thought the film 90% of the time was funny. I thought there's only a few jokes I look back and I go, oh.
I found myself laughing quite a lot throughout it. I don't, unless I rewatch it and I go, oh, but I just came away the majority of the time laughing. Obviously, yeah, there was moments I teared up as well, but most of the time it was just I just came out of it just like on a buzz, and it was just what jokes didn't work for you? I can't remember.
The goats.
Oh, yeah, I've seen a lot of people say it's like the tooth. What's it? It's a meme like it's a bit too old. Like I found it quite funny though. I was in the ship and
this might be controversial, but I thought this film had too much Korg. I think what makes Korg work is that he's a one-note joke that can be funny. And the reason
but didn't you want to find out his origins and how?
No, do you know what? The fact that is it the Cronins? I think Cronins.
I can't remember.
All mates.
Thing, the two dads.
All mate by holding hands over a lava pit is really funny with his boyfriend Dwayne, who is a rock. Which, if you didn't get that joke, it's very funny because somebody didn't. My mate didn't get it. Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Oh, well, I didn't hear that.
You didn't get that. You didn't get that.
No. Oh yeah, sorry. No, I did.
He gets with Dwayne, who's a rock monster. That's the point. He's got like a similar facial hair. I met a man called Dwayne.
Oh yeah,
and he's and obviously because they're rock monsters, Dwayne the Rock Johnson is the joke there.
It was a shame. At Comic Con, Tessa Thompson was like, "Oh, we're going to find Valkyrie a new queen," and it was just about the LGBT stuff. I think with her, I really think they could have. It was teased, but hopefully the next one, she gets to have like a.
I think so. I really liked her character. In this, I think. In the day, people said that she didn't have anything to do, but there's so much subtext there with this character, which I think is enough. You know, we see her that she maybe not enjoying being the new king of New Asgard, and perhaps she would rather, go on this adventure. You can tell she's kind of yearning for a bit of excitement again after being quite bored. Which I think is really good. I think overall as well, she's a really good rapport with the cast. Tessa Thompson, I think, and Chris Hemsworth's kind of chemistry together back and forth is really fun. Obviously, I did that really boring Men in Black film together, but if there was one good thing about it, it was them two, with each other.
Yeah, that's why I took away from it.
Yeah. But I just think at the end of the day, Valkyrie is one of those characters that I wouldn't mind seeing being taken away from the Thor franchise for a little bit and kind of interacting with other characters. I think that'd be really cool. I don't know
saw in the cast list for Miss Marvels.
What, the
But
Marvels or Miss Marvel?
the Marvel, sorry. Oh no, yeah, the new film. Apparently
What,
she's in that.
the one coming out next? Well, that's exciting.
Oh no,
Um,
so Wakanda Forever's next.
no, but I mean the
Yeah,
next. Yeah,
the
yeah,
next Captain Marvel 2 base, yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if that was
Um,
fake or not, but yeah.
it might be fake. Who knows? But I mean, that'd be cool. Um, I'm a big fan of the character, but I don't know. It seems obviously. I think in this film she does get a bit overshadowed by the fact that Jane Foster's there. Although they are two very different personalities, it's sort of like the good thing that worked in Ragnarok for Valkyrie's character was her back and forth with Thor, and she doesn't get to do that much this time. She's kind of paired with Korg a bit more in the heart-to-heart moments, which sounds weird, but it does work in the film. Um, so obviously that Thor and Jane can have a back and forth, which is fun.
Hmm.
People have said as well they miss Loki. I fucking don't. Like, look, I'm sorry. I love Tom Hiddleston. I think he's brilliant, and I think the one good thing in the Loki series was his acting. I just don't like the character that much. I think we've had enough of him. He's appeared so much and done everything, and then he died. And I was very sad, and I was like, "Oh my god, they've actually killed him!" And then he came back. I was like, "Oh,
Well, obviously they joked about the beginning of the film, like how many times he died. So we did come back and we'd be like, oh. But
he
I
died
think
and then died again." And
I enjoyed the Loki Disney Plus series, so let him. And but for like for Thor, obviously you've seen him die, and and it kind of takes with the Thanos thing. So in the films or whatever, like it may happen. I'm sure it happen. They will reunite at some point. Obviously, new variant, but obviously his Loki is dead. So
yeah,
carry on with that. Yeah.
yeah, no, I don't disagree with you. I think it was a really good decision not having him in this film. Um, I love Tom Hiddleston. He's really cool. He seems like a lovely gent. Um, but I don't know. I think if you want to go out a character that there's fatigue for me, it's Loki. Not because I don't like the character, but because he's been villain. He turned good. He had a really good arc. Died. I was like, that's a complete arc done. They were like, no, we're going to bring back Disney Plus. And I get why, because he's popular. If I was working at Marvel, I'd be like, let's get him on board again, because for me, it's just one of those things where the narrative was done. That's why I'm happy they didn't force a cameo in here. I thought it was really, really, really smart.
Yeah, I thought maybe he was gonna, because obviously at the second post credit scene where we see Jane go to Valhalla, I thought maybe the Thor, the Loki who died in.
Oh, I suppose he could have.
War.
He could have. Yeah, he could have been there. Yeah.
There's people saying Iron Man's now in Valhalla because he died in battle. All right.
Yeah, but no, but
All right.
from what I understand about the MCU kind of afterlife is that you go to the afterlife that you associate with. So
Yeah.
surely, Tony Stark is in. We don't know about his religion, but I'll assume he is in what we perceive to be called heaven. And maybe not Valhalla, but hey, there's a lot of afterlife things going on at the minute, so maybe that's kind of a pathway we're going down. Who knows? I think it'd be quite morbid to go to heaven and raise an army of the dead, but if that's where Marvel want to go with it.
Well, obviously we've got the Comic Con not this weekend, the weekend after, and I think
exciting times.
very exciting because obviously
Kevin, Mr. Feige,
he's going to announce his road plan, which a lot of criticism that I've seen online about the current Phase Thor is, and I said Phase
Thor. Yeah, this is Phase Thor.
Yeah, is that there's like, where's it going? Where's the direction? It's definitely going to like a multiversal war thing, I think, but we'll find out. But yeah, but then like I said, not like his film, it stands at its own. It develops a Thor character.
Yeah,
a supporting character. Yeah, so
there might have to, depending on what's announced, there might have to be a podcast about that announcement and just kind of break it down, have a chat.
Cool. That's fine.
But yeah, back to the film quickly. I think one thing that has got a lot of crap is Gore the God Butcher. And I think overall he's probably one of the best villains of the lot. I'm not trying to overhype it, but for me, his story is so resonant, and the fact that the gods, 90% of them anyway, are assholes. You do kind of believe, well, what's so wrong with him wanting to get rid of all these dickheads that a lot of people believe in and they just watch die because they want to have orgies? And that sounds like a really weird sentence, but that is what they want to do instead of save us. Russell Crowe is building up to Russell Crowe playing Zeus, I believe, is building up to who's going to be invited to the orgy. Is his big thing.
Yeah, I think yeah, again, I've seen a lot of people just say, oh, we should have saw him go on like a killing rampage. I don't think it's necessary. Like, he kills his own god for the death of his daughter. And I think if you saw him killing like every god ever, then the ending, I think, wouldn't have had such a punch. Because obviously he's meant to be cursed throughout the film, so it's not him. But then by the end, he obviously has that redemption with his daughter, and he kind of sees he has a change of mind. So I think if you saw him mask everybody, I don't think that ending would have impacted as much.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, there was apparently scenes shot with Jeff Goldblum that were cut.
And Peter Dinklage, who's obviously the guy in Infinity War who creates Stormbreaker, and the woman from Game of Thrones, I can't remember, but she got paid $7 million, and the scene was cut.
I'd take it.
So,
somebody offered me $7 million, I'd be like, you can do with the scene what you want to do with it. But is it Laura Heaney or something? I can't.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, do I need to see the scenes? No. Would I like them as a DVD extra? Of course I would. More Jeff Goldblum is great, even if he does get killed. I love Jeff Goldblum. I could see him in any film. I haven't seen the new Jurassic World yet. I've heard it's bad. I'll watch it because Jeff Goldblum's in it. But overall, I think overall, every time he appears, he's really creepy, especially in that scene with the kids, and he takes that snake's head off, and whatever, and he's really good. The monarch. We'll get into the battles a bit later on, but his battle on his like what they call it, the Dark Realm, or what was it, the Shadow Dimension? I can't remember what they called it.
When it went black and white on the planet?
Yeah, what was it called? Was it like the Shadow Realm?
Something
it was Shadow something, because he was using shadows
from the shadows. Yeah, so there's a lot of there's that creepy shot, the kind of jump scare bit where he's like Thor sees him through the crowd,
and he's weeping angels.
He's like weeping angels, like, yeah. I think obviously Christian Bale. I think he sat after Dark Knight. He was like, I'm not doing superhero stuff, but you could tell he's having a lot of fun with this, like. And obviously the drama stuff, like that opening scene, very emotional, and it parallels. I think it's Jane's mother's death as well. There's a lot of parallel shots with that throughout the film. So yeah, he has like the dramatic stuff. Also, he's having fun as a villain, and like I said, I think he's one of the best Marvel villains. Really impactful, a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think he does serve a purpose that is very good, and because realistically he gets this power, but he never becomes power hungry in the sense of he's like, I want to rule the world. He just wants justice for his daughter that he thinks is, well, obviously is dead at that point, and he never kind of strives away from that. It never becomes about him wanting to rule the world or anything. He just wants to essentially get revenge on the people that wronged him and stuff like that. And he's
obviously cursed as well.
Like Jane, which is a nice kind of like symbolism. But that opening, that first 2 minutes of this film is one of the most sad 2 minutes of any opening to any Marvel film ever. Up there with Avengers Endgame for me, where you're just sort of depressed because it's really well shot, really, really sad just to slowly over time watch this little girl die in her dad's arms, and you're like, shit.
Obviously, like I said, the first 5 minutes was just all gore, setting him up, and like you said, you just suffer his pain, really. That's get on his page of what he's been through, I'd say I think again, I thought they were the best villains. I thought I didn't really felt like anything was really missing with him at all. I got it.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. I'm with you on that one. And overall, I thought Christian Bale was great. Really good. And people say I don't get the argument that he wasn't in the movie enough. I think he was in the movie more than enough to understand the story. Quickly about the runtime, I'll be very quick. I don't mind that these films are 2 hours long now. I don't need a film to be 2.5 hours. In fact, every time I watch a 2.5 hour Marvel movie, I'm like, you could trim 15 minutes off that anyway. So I'm cool with it being 2 hours.
I think in the past, and I don't know if it's still principle now. I don't know. I was watching reviews saying it might be to do with the new head of Disney, but I don't know. If Black Panther 2 is like 2 hours long, I will start suspecting. But usually in the past, the Marvel films, I think Kevin Feige's like it needs to be as long as the story needs to be. Like I don't. There's not really. It's Marvel, you know.
Yeah.
It just
Kevin Feige is a genius. He knows what he's doing. That's all I'll say.
yeah.
Yeah, right, let's get into Jane Foster and let's get into Natalie Portman in this movie, the heart and soul of the movie, if you like. I think she is fantastic. I think she's brilliant. Finally, we get to see that Natalie Portman charisma, which she does have, contrary to popular belief. I think she is a lot of fun. Finally, she gets to be as charismatic as Chris Hemsworth, which again, she clearly is in this movie. I think she is believable as Thor, as the mighty Thor, sorry, easily. And one thing I will disprove in this is people go, she gets it for no reason. It's like, do we watch a different film? Like, it's paralleling for those of you that don't know, for those of you that do, as I said, it parallels what happened at the beginning of the first Thor movie, when Odin has put his spell on the hammer, and then Thor, because at this point he is worthy, can do the same thing. So he puts a spell on Mjolnir, and that allows Jane then to be protected by Mjolnir.
Yeah, it's part of a great montage of trying to fill in the gaps. Obviously, you know, after Thor: The Dark World, it was a bit like, and then they kind of just, you know, left Jane, and obviously Thor Ragnarok went in its own direction. But they do it really well, kind of explaining how that what happened after the Dark World. Like they did have a genuine love thing, but obviously then just went their separate ways. Obviously,
Yeah.
and obviously, obviously Thor's journey in this is obviously just, you know, find a kind of purpose again and love, and you know it does come around. But yeah, obviously Jane's, like you said, I think it really did very well. We'll talk about cat and stuff in a bit, but yeah, like I think she really a lot of fun again, but also gut wrenching, really emotional moments.
Exactly.
Obviously cat and stuff, which, you know, I think sadly, you know, I think obviously most people go through that kind of thing in their life, where it's like family or friends, sadly. So it felt, you know, you say you've got this massive fantasy stuff, but the heart of it, you've got a very true and sad story, and it's played like there's no kind of skimming around it. It kind of, you know, it doesn't get obviously super nasty, but it is quite raw. And I found the scenes I was watching, I think a lot of people as well would probably go back. You know, it connects with something that, you know, seeing people that have obviously fought or lost to cancer very well. So I think, you know, when they said like they were doing like that storyline with her, I was debating whether they could do it or not. So fair play to them for doing it and kind of seeing it through from that comic storyline.
Yeah, I think it was really well handled, you know. First things first, kudos to Natalie Portman for getting in that shape, because
God damn. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Like, you know,
arms for
and
days.
Yeah, seriously. And like, obviously the good thing is that Kevin Feige came out and said, no, we didn't do that. She did that. We just made her a bit taller.
There's some great behind the scenes, because she's like
she's on like a plinth. She's on like a plinth.
So she's walking. Yeah.
Because obviously I think she's roughly this.
Magic.
I think she's shorter than Tessa Thompson in real life.
Oh, really?
So you know, but they make her a bit taller. But yeah, no, kudos to her, because obviously she put the work in, and she looks great in this movie. And it's believable. It's a believable thing. I'm a big fan of the sort of geeky superhero, because again, we forget that Jane Foster, because she's not much of a character, is a massive geek. So see her sort of geeking out, trying to be the superhero, kind of get the catchphrases right, stuff like that. Bring on the rainbow, and stuff, which just made me think of Skittles. I don't know if that was intentional or not.
Okay. There was again with the continuity scene stuff. There was somebody, when they were filming it, her flying up into the sky and like being transformed. So I think there was a transformation scene. But
I'm so happy they cut it. I'm so happy they cut it.
Yeah, because when she goes with the hammer, it's such a bang impact. So
yeah. Obviously we sort of know what's about to happen anyway, but I think the reveal with Thor and Thor seeing it for the first time is a lot more interesting than just getting a nice transformation scene.
Yeah.
But I have to say, like, I was loving their back and forth. I like a nice little rom-com, which this film essentially is. It's a rom-com with a sad ending.
Yeah, bittersweet because, like I said, they obviously rekindle and but obviously it's not going to have a happy. Well, you don't know that, but obviously, it didn't end.
Yeah,
very well. But
and kudos. I was gonna say kudos to Marvel Studios as well for actually going through with it, because I was so prepared that final match to be like, no, the final wish is that she's going to be healed and they're going to live happily ever after.
Yeah,
and I was like, don't do that. Don't
do that. It'd be very,
I think it'd be a bit I think it'd be a bit distasteful to do a cancer storyline and then be like, she's healed. It'd be a bit like, oh,
yeah.
But I thought she was really good. I thought she was a really good emotional centerpiece of the movie, and I like the sort of weird kind of like love, not love sort of thing. I loved the little breakup montage. I thought it was really fun.
Yeah, it was funny bits in that. Yeah,
I liked the whole. I was the only people I think in the world that liked the kind of Stormbreaker jealousy with the Mjolnir.
Yeah, people were like, "That's not." I was like, "That's bloody hilarious."
I thought whenever you see Stormbreaker just kind of roll in and like move and look at him.
Excuse me, what did you just say? Yeah.
No. I was just looking. I wasn't. I love you. It's all good.
Yeah, yeah. I think the kind of the cancer stuff. I found myself turning up at the mum's death flashback, but when the dying scene, I felt that it was like talking too much. I was like, oh, it kind of drew me out a bit. It was like,
oh really? I
thought.
I liked it. I think.
Oh yeah,
because the one thing in this movie is, and it's not detriment to the movie, but it's kind of the film never really slows down for them to talk.
True.
And I kind of like the fact that I kind of like the fact they get that final goodbye, and she's the one that kind of sets Thor up to become this father figure to whatever they're called. I'm going to go with love at the minute because we don't know what the child is actually called yet, so we'll go with the word love.
Love.
Yeah, love. The kid is called Love. Who knows? Yeah. But
love.
Well, I also like the fact that we don't actually hear what our final catchphrase was. It's kind of a nice little moment there where we don't.
Oh yeah, no, we don't. No. Also, that's paralleling, Gore's done as well. And obviously, again, all the parallels.
I just think overall, I think this film was just superb, mate, in like a lot of ways, and everything hit for me. Let's talk about the action. I think the action's a lot of fun. A lot of blood in this movie, gold blood, but a lot of blood, and I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
A very good way of getting around the censorship, because you couldn't get away with all that blood in a Marvel film, but because it's gold and a bit more thick, I suppose, because it's god blood, you can get away with it, and you see a lot of it, especially in that scene with all the gods and Russell Crowe having a laugh.
Someone's going to edit, make it all red on set.
Yeah.
Someone will do that.
I mean, imagine that scene of Valkyrie licking the blood off the sword with it being red. Like the Marvel spots be like, no. But yeah, I thought that scene was really fun. Actually, that kind of set piece was really cool. It's because it is kind of one block in the movie. It's like a 10-minute block with Russell Crowe in it, but he's having a fun time. And Russell Crowe I think he's quite underrated, to be honest.
I think all the action scenes, like you said, the battle with the Guardians and Thor taking over the destruction. There's that mini one in New Asgard, which, there's an ice cream shop in New Asgard called Infinity Cones. A lot of people died from that. Don't you think that's a bit distasteful in the universe? As a bit like, I don't know, opening like an ice cream shop based on.
Yeah, it's a bit of weird marketing, isn't it? Yeah.
Like I said, the God fight, the fight on the planet, and then the end. I thought the end thing with all the kids, that was hilarious. Like when they were holding.
Oh yeah, I love that. Because also, good point. You actually reminded me. In this film, we do meet the son of Heimdall, who is
yes.
It's called. Is it It's not. What's it?
When he says, don't he say, "Oh, my
I,
name's this," and it's
yeah, well, he says
I
his
don't
name's
get that.
Axel, but it's not. But I can't remember what his actual name is. He changed his name to Axel after Axel Rose. But is it Astrid or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Like, you keep
Okay.
talking. I'm going to go to Google. Give him a fun anecdote whilst I Google it.
Let's give you a fun anecdote. I don't know. You put me on the spot, Alex. I don't know.
Just talk about the movie, man.
Yeah, I thought that was like, yeah, I guess it's kind of like child catcher vibes with gore. But yeah, those scenes are great. Like with him, like just tormenting people. Like I don't know how Christian Bale gets into character so well, but like him, like them, like torturing the kids. Like they were probably genuinely. There was probably no acting. And as well,
Yeah,
obviously,
it was Astrid. It was Astrid.
okay.
So it was Astrid, but he changed his name to Axel after Axel Rose, I think.
Yeah, that was a bit weird because he was like, "No, it's not," and he's like, "Yes,
Oh,
it
because
is."
he's a kid and you don't want to call it Astrid, is it? Um,
His name.
uh, what do we make of the kid acting? Does he have a lot of shit for it? I think it's fine. I think he's all right. I don't really get the
There was a
hate.
lot of there's a lot of people taking the mick out of the CGI of his face floating.
But I thought it was meant to be look a bit weak because he hadn't harnessed his powers yet. That's what I thought anyway, but maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe there's been a bit of again more controversy with there's a lot of stuff with like VFX people like being overworked, overstressed, obviously meeting deadlines, obviously these films and that.
Yeah.
And then I think Taika Waititi and Tessa Thompson were doing an interview, and they were taking the mick out the CGI, and they were like, "You approved it." So I don't really don't want any moments.
Yeah, I just think,
You know,
well, first of all, people being overworked is wrong and it shouldn't happen. And we should be protecting people's mental health and physical health when it comes to these movies, because if you need to push it back a few weeks or so or get more people on board, do it. You got the money, Disney, so there's no excuse in my
yeah.
opinion. Second of all, making fun of it, I think that's just what Taika would do. I think it's his way around it. I don't think there's any malice in that,
No.
I think it's just what he would do if he looked at it and he goes, "Oh shit, actually that could have been a bit better." I think that's his way of kind of working around it, rather than going, "That's bad,"
Yeah, we
or trying to
did
avoid it.
bad.
He'll just take the mick out of it. And I'm sure that he's a very, very nice man to work for, because obviously he's one of
Oh
the
god,
people
yeah.
he's one of the people in Hollywood that no one's actually said a bad thing about yet. So fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think overworking, it shouldn't happen at that level. There should be enough VFX artists to
But
handle it.
I think it's a
They
thing
should
that's just been
hire.
going on. I think it's a thing that's just going on for years, not
Yeah, and
just
that's
Marvel.
that's Disney. Yeah, that's Disney slash Hollywood's fault, because there are so many VFX artists who would love to work on these productions, and yet they only hire a certain amount. And it's kind of like, why not hire more? Because VFX is a long and monotonous process as well, so it can get quite tiring, especially when these films have such high production value and such little time. It's a very tricky process for sure.
I've got a fun fact now, and I'm not on the spot. The stuff they use for the Mandalorian, the kind of like, so they got these like hub things, and they project the landscape around
Yeah,
in this
so
like
it's not
massive
green
ball.
screen. It's not green
It's
screen.
not
Is it?
green
Yeah.
screen, no. So a lot of it was done by. I think it's the first Marvel film to do that. So yeah, I think
Oh, was it in this as well? Was it?
that technology was used to film. Yeah,
Oh, sick.
yeah. So
I
what they
didn't
use in
know that.
Mandalorian is just like a massive. Yeah, so it's the first Marvel film, I believe,
Well,
to use.
I didn't notice that. So it means it did a
There
good
you
job.
go.
But yeah, I don't know. I just also think it's for the quality of CGI in Marvel films doesn't bother me. It's campy fun. I don't need it to look realistic. It's not like a Blade Runner sort of thing where I'm like, this looks a bit off, and that makes you go, movie. This is rock monsters and shit. I don't need the CGI to be perfect. It's fun. Like maybe I'm just less kind of critical of some Marvel films, whatever. But I just think this film's trying to be a bit of fun. That it sets out to do that, and it
Yeah,
is that.
I think it's so endorsing that if you're looking for that, the film's not winning you over. Like if you're looking for little things like, oh, that shot didn't look. You're not having fun with the film.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with you. I think, yeah, bang on there, mate. But for me, yeah, I just got to say, I think that, in terms of the tech and the CGI, then there weren't many moments I went, oh, and actually, I really like the character of Axel. I thought his acting was all right. It's very clear that he is quite a young lad. So I think in the years to come, hopefully, he will.
Yeah, it was a bit jarring. Like, it's like Heimdall's got a son. Like, where's the
Yeah,
mother? What's going on?
who knows? It's one of the goats. But yeah, no,
Oh
I just,
God.
I just think,
I
I
feel
thought it
sorry for
was,
the podcast. This is an image of that.
yeah.
Poor just
No, I thought overall it was a really, really, really good casting. I think in the years to come, he could be an interesting character. Obviously, we saw Valkyrie training him privately at the end of the movie, which was. Or was it Sif?
I
It was
reckon
Sif was training him privately, and Valkyrie was training all the rest of the kids.
I reckon that could be a love interest. I reckon because you see him training the kids together.
For whom? Oh, Sif. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you meant the kid. I was like, what? It's like,
No,
I don't think,
bestiality to pedophilia. No.
Thor, love and pedophilia.
Jesus Christ. Oh no. No. What did you think of like Lady Sif thing? Because obviously she's in it.
I think that is.
I
think it's set up for future. I think she didn't really have a purpose in this story, but I could easily see her slotting somewhere else later on.
Well, I thought
I'd even like a new Asgard sort of Disney Plus show. That would be pretty interesting, and
they could do it quite well now because it's all on Earth.
Get Sith and get Valkyrie to lead it and do some cool things, and you can even get some cool cameos. Chris Hemsworth should definitely appear in it at some point because why not? But yeah, it's kind of like, let's head towards like the wrap up sort of thing now. Like the air sequences, I think in this movie were fine. I don't think any of them were like amazing. I think obviously the one in the shadow realm was like cool visually. I also liked but I like the build up to that first, where obviously they realize they're coming into a trap. And we find out that Gore wants to use Stormbreaker's use of the Bifrost to be able to go and find eternity. Now this is where we get a bit comicky, and this is where people say this film didn't do anything to move the story forward. It just introduced fucking eternity at the center of the universe. Like that's a big deal in the Marvel comics. But I think it's a cool idea. I think it makes sense. And people going at the start, why didn't he just grab the axe? It's because he wanted to kill Thor, because of his rage was so.
Yeah.
Whenever he's in front of a god, he wanted to kill Thor. I thought overall it's a good plot. I think it works. I love the whole scene where they're all tied up and he's like torturing Jay. He's like, call the axe, choose love. Which obviously at the end of the film, Gore chooses love, which is a nice little thing.
True.
But yeah,
there's a cool Easter as well. I thought because you see like the celestial heads and the Watcher's head as well in that sanctum,
and the Living Tribunal for the 1500th time, which keeps just popping up in things now, I guess. Because it was in Loki, it was in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and now it's here.
I think it was meant to be Infinity War, but they cut it.
Yeah, I went up doing the fight between Thanos and Doctor Strange, right?
Yeah.
I thought the other sequences, the one on New Asgard served its purpose as being like the introduction to Jane, and that being really cool. The one on the what was it called? Something City. I can't think. What was it called? Shit. Where all the gods are? There's something City, I think.
Hercules' crib.
Yeah, you mean Zeus's? It's Zeus.
Oh, Zeus. Sorry, Hercules. Right, yeah, Hercules.
Hercules appears later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, the issues were fun, especially that last one that you said when Thor gives the kids the power of the mighty. Like, I always said at the start, for a small time only.
He's like for a small time only. Make sure it's
yeah. And then obviously all the kids do it, and you got that little kid with a stuffed teddy bear taking out some fools. Really cool. And obviously the good thing about that, I said the heartbreaking thing about the action sequences before this, we see Jane in hospital, and it's essentially said if she uses the hammer one more time, she's dead because the hammer is stopping her from being able to heal. So it's saving her, but also killing her at the same time in a sense. So
great job, Morna. You have to protect them. You kill them all.
it's a sad thing because she does use the hammer again because she can envisage Thor, I think, getting beaten up or something. It's a bit of weird, wonky magic sort of thing, but she can see it's not going well. She can feel it in her bones, so she powers up. And obviously, you see Thor sees her and he's like, no, and she does it. She saves the day. They reach eternity, and unfortunately, she dies, and it's a really kind of sad moment because. Although I didn't want it to happen, although I didn't want them to reverse it, you do really like a character, and I would love to have seen more of her. To be honest with you,
It's really bittersweet because, like you said, you're like that. Like when they're both Thor, it's like he's found his perfect woman in a sense, you know.
I think she was. I think he knew that she was perfect before that. I think he was just.
Yeah. But I mean, now
Rees Marshall only abdicates perfect women to be with,
and obviously, like they felt they just kind of reconnected in that moment, and it's like, and then you know the end, and as well, obviously with her like is pick up the hammer, and obviously knows she knows obviously if she does it she'll die. It's kind of her going out on her own terms as well, you know, which is quite a nice.
No, I can agree. I think
sweet, but yeah,
I think it's a cool thing, and I think it's fun, and yeah, at the end of the day, I think it's an exciting sort of moment for the film because it's bittersweet, but it leads to a new road, if you like. I think
which is
it leads to a new path, which I'm excited for because at the end of the day, when you think of what can we do with Thor anymore, it's an interesting path that I'm actually excited to go down.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. It's quite a funny switcheroo because you think at the end like he's getting her ready for school, which actually is his actual daughter, by the way.
Yeah, I think that's kind of nice.
Which is neat.
I think that might stop her from being in future appearances as much because I don't know. I think at that age as well, I don't know how much he wants her to be in the MCU figurehead that much. So unless Thor 5 is like 4 or 5 years down the road, and then she can grow up a bit and then make her own choices.
It may well be because obviously I think Taika Waititi's quite busy.
I also reckon though we're going to see Thor in an Avengers 5 before we get the next Thor movie.
But you can just say she's being babysit on New Asgard.
New Asgard, isn't it? Yeah.
Like I said, I was going to say, I think it's quite exciting they've kind of reinvented him again because obviously, like they introduced more comedy. They tried out Bro Thor.
But Bro Thor is still I still love Bro Thor. I can't lie. I don't like the fact they just made him fat and depressed, but I think there were that scene where he's explaining the plot of the Dark World because we all forgot what happened, and I think it's some funny stuff in there.
Like, oh, my mum's dead, my brother died, my girlfriend left me.
Yeah, one thing I will say for Thor 5, can we get Ruffalo back, please? Because I want more Thor and Ruffalo. That'd be fun.
That's one character in Egypt redeem is Hulk because they really depowered him. I hope he goes full Hulk again soon.
Full Hulk. Yeah. We're still going to be seeing him in She-Hulk, which comes out in September.
Yeah. So what I think it's like the Iron Groot series next, which is like a shorts series.
I won't be watching that.
Oh, you will. When she sees Cupid. Yeah. So after that, it's She-Hulk. Then we've got Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I don't know. Ironheart, which will be introduced in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. There has been some leaked images.
Wait, Riri Williams is going to be in. I think so. Wait, she's going
with her own Iron Man suit.
Already.
A temporary one. You'll.
Okay.
Sorry.
We'll wait. Spoilers for Wakanda Forever. Sorry about that.
Too late.
Too late. But yeah. Where is it set? Is it in Boston or is she at Caltech? Because I thought that's maybe where we'll see Bruno pop up again. Is in that series. Oh. I don't think we're done with Bruno. I think Bruno. I also think Matt Lintz is too good to not use again. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe. I think it is quite nice having different people from different film franchises. For example, like Jimmy Woo appeared in like WandaVision.
Yeah, I just think it makes the universe feel more connected when you get a random character.
Yeah,
But because also it depends, because obviously the one good thing is if she's going to not Caltech. What's the one that they want to go to in Spider-Man that they get that Ned and MJ get into eventually? That
I
one.
know. Yeah.
I think that's where Ree Williams is going to be going. But the issue is obviously you can't show Ned and MJ unless it's a crossover with Sony or they pay money or something. But that'd be really cool to see them even if it's a cameo. You just see those two characters. Yeah, that. Also, by the way, but we'll talk. We'll do a quick, if you're up for it. We'll do a quick like, phase 5 sort of predictions sort of thing at the end of this as well. But yeah, I don't know. I just think at the end of the day, the universe and now Marvel is getting bigger. It's getting a bit more experimental, and I'm here for it because at the end of the day, I'd rather they experiment and miss than be boring and miss like they did with Eternals, which was just a basic origin story and it was crap. Sorry if you like Eternals. I know Macaulay is a big fan, but I think it's boring.
I've never wanted to. I've never had the urge to kind of rewatch it. I think there is a plan, but and again, we'll talk about it as well. Obviously, we discuss our predictions for what's coming next. But it's kind of we've got the Disney Plus stuff which needs to be generating more content. We've had a very heavy after Infinity War saga. We needed kind of more of a palate cleanser. So I think it is cleverly doing stuff in the background. I think once future things come out, you'll be like, and that's what they would, and that's it. So it's slowed it, but I think Kevin Feige is very clever in being like,
oh, he knows what he's doing. He is the chess master.
Like, letting the creators like create what they want. Be like, oh, here's your sandbox. Don't go out the sandbox because we're doing this and this and this, but
we'll let you do your thing.
And add this, by the way, add this little thing.
Yeah, exactly. So let's quickly, I suppose, wrap up then. Obviously, this film kind of ends with Thor now having his own kid. Korg's got his own little rock guy going on. Valkyrie's still in the position of King of Asgard, but obviously Sif seems to be second in command, perhaps, which is cool. I think we'll see more of Sif. I think Sif in this movie was there so that they could open the door for Jamie Alexander to return later on, which is cool. Guardians are doing their own thing. I don't think anything that was put in this film is going to set up their third film. I think that's going to be Adam Warlock. I just think it is. I don't think they're going to have anything that happens here is going to have anything to do with the Guardians 3.
No, not at all. It was just they were just there just because they were at the end of Endgame with Thor. And obviously, it's just like a little thing. Like they had a saga together, and as well, it kind of gives a nice breathing room as well because obviously you still got obviously Gamora's going to come back. So it's nice there's been a bit of time to make that loss more effective. So when she comes back in Guardians 3, it'd be cool.
Yeah, so Thor: Love and Thunder for me, mate, is a really fun Marvel film, and I think it's going to be one. It's one of those. It's like what I say with Doctor Who. It's a Sunday afternoon watch. It's one of those ones where if you're bored on a Sunday afternoon, you've got to spare a couple of hours. You look at Disney Plus library. It's one of the ones that I go to and go, yeah, that's 2 hours of fun. I'll watch that because it's not heavy on plot. It's not heavy on. You need to know really what's going on. You can just put it on, have a good laugh, and it's one of those films. We're not going to give it an 8 out of 10. I think it's really solid. I think it's really fun. It hits more than it misses for me. It's not like top tier MCU, but it's certainly high mid pack MCU sort of around. We've had 25, 26 films, around about 10th to 15th. It would probably fit in that kind of bracket for me, I think.
Okay. I was just thoroughly entertained throughout the 2 hours. I didn't feel anything was really missing. I felt it was the right length. You don't really want to be there being like, oh, how long has this film got left? It obviously reintroduces Jane in an amazing way, and obviously Gore, the villain, was great. Again, you've got these fantastical ideas, but again, it grounds it with Jane's storyline and love, emotions, all this kind of stuff. I thought the action scenes were great, stylistically amazing. And I say I'm really looking forward to watch again. Like I say, Eternals and Doctor Strange 2. When I've gone around to rewatch them, I've not really been like, oh, like with this. As soon as it comes on Disney Plus again, I'm straight on it day one because I'm like,
yep,
great. It's just fun. It was just
if you had to give it an out of 10 score,
7.58. I think you're right. Yeah, as I said, I did my rankings on Twitter. But yeah, out of phase 4 so far, this is like my top third favorite.
Follow at GF97 YouTube. But speaking of Twitter, we're doing a new thing on the show. We asked for some people's reviews. We got some reviews in. This first one is from Robbie, which just says Korg made of rock. So we can't tell whether he liked the film or not, but that's what he put. So thank you for that, Robbie.
Actually, correct.
He is a friend of the show, and that's what he decided to put in. We did get. I would say some more substantial reviews, but Connor obviously has been the show before. Just put one word: shite.
But why?
But thankfully, we did have the lovely Richard Orr, who put a couple of comedy moments. Maybe shouldn't have been played as comedy moments, but aside from that, I really enjoyed the whole feel of the film. It was big, bright, and fun. Shot beautifully with a cracking soundtrack. The cast made it such a fun watch. I thoroughly agree with that. In the whole.
The soundtrack, yeah, that's a good shout.
Oh, we didn't speak about that at all, did we?
Damn it!
You've got, if you're not a Guns N' Roses fan, you're going to struggle. That's all I'll say. I don't mind a bit of Guns N' Roses.
And they even did like a rock version of the Marvel theme tune. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the title card, the Marvel Studios.
Like, they did it once with Dot 2, didn't they? Like I think it's before the flood.
Wait, was it actually Capaldi playing the guitar as well, which is kind of like a cool.
I doubt. Well, I want him doing
apparently, because he was a rock. He was in a band, wasn't he? Like he did know how to play the guitar.
It would have been cool, but I highly doubt. I probably don't have the time.
Good point.
But yeah, great review, Richard.
Great review, Richard. And Connor, thank you for saying the word shite. I suppose every review is valid.
When I speak to next, I'll be like,
Robbie Korg made of rock is factually accurate as well. But no, please do go follow Shout Hammers Pods because we'll be asking every week now for your reviews.
It's a good thing to get people on, get on the podcast. If you
want to say the word shite or good or say any word you want, really, as long as it's not, cancelable.
Within legal boundaries, Alex will read out any comments.
Even if it's unrelated.
Even if it's, you could just be like, my day shit, and he'll read it out.
you could be reviewing a different movie. I'll do it. Yeah. We're talking about the boys. We're talking about the boys. You're reviewing Ice Age. I'll still read it. Read it.
That podcast was a few months ago, but
yeah. Anyway, right. Phase 4 predictions. I won't go into fully, but I think this is the few things we'll get. We'll get an Avengers 5 announcement. We'll find out what is going on with Spider-Man most likely. I reckon here's the shout. Of all the MCU Phase 4 movies to get a sequel quickly, it will be Shang-Chi 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are my 3 predictions. Avengers 5, something to do with Spider-Man, and Shang-Chi 2.
Okay. Well, we're a few things. I reckon they're going to be doing Secret Wars. I reckon that's because it's all multiversal war teased and all that, and the Russo brothers have said they do it and it'd be more ambitious than Infinity War Endgame. So I reckon that's the challenge.
Oh, do you reckon you'll get the Russo brothers back? Do you think that'll be the big announcement? Be like, hey!
Yeah. I think he's going to be like. I think he's going to set more of a plan. I think you get sub teams they're kind of setting up. So there's a rumor of Young Avengers, Thunderbolts as well. I think we get those subdivisions. Obviously, you've got the horror stuff, the mutants, But I think we're going to get some very cool announcements and I think he will address stuff that's already been in the films that we've seen and being like, remember that scene? Oh, this moment, this is what this is going to set up. So I think we'll get more of a narrative structure. But I think Kevin Feige brings out the big guns at Comic Con, so
yeah, I mean, it's gonna be early in the morning for us. I don't know when it will be, but I mean, we'll probably be watching it.
I'll see it when I wake up. It's all
right. Are you working? Are you on the day?
When is it?
I don't know. It's next weekend.
Oh no! I'll probably be up.
We'll have to watch it on Zoom then together. We'll screen share it and just watch it.
We could do a live stream.
A live stream reaction. We could get Rees's reaction.
Oh my god!
This is Cyberman. That's my favourite quote of all time. You watch a Doctor trying to go, there's a Cyberman.
Was that the Flux one?
Yeah.
How Cole may have been involved on the Greg North show.
The Cyberman.
It's a Cyberman. What?
I was just like, that's like you going in this way. Oh, it's Thor.
I'm glad that's tickled Alex.
But yeah, it makes me laugh. It's just because I know you and you're quite a laid back, chill guy. So whenever I see you do like a trailer reaction, you got people ramped up. It just makes me laugh because it's
I do enjoy watching. I stopped doing it now myself, but you have to think, well, there's a camera there, so you can't be like,
oh yeah, no, it's just funny because it's like
boring.
it's not the opposite version of you, but it's like you turned up to 200.
It's heightened, isn't it? Yeah.
Because if you ever meet Rees in person, he's very lovely, but he is quite chill. He's kind of like, you're right, yeah, that's kind of how it goes. We're quite similar people. Whereas in this reaction, like, oh my god, it's funny. But yeah, please do go follow Mr. Gallifrey97 Rees Marshall on Twitter at GF97 YouTuber. Follow him on YouTube as well at Gallifrey97 for some trailers that are very, very good and maybe some other things. I don't know if you've got anything in the pipeline, or is it just trailers right now?
I've got a Donna tribute coming up. That should be out today that I'm filming. So, but nice. No, nothing really. I may do a retrospective on LFCC summer. Yeah, I might tighten the vlog, but no, yeah, check out Alex's channel, the Timers podcast,
which you're currently on now.
You're current right now. Well, subscribe if you haven't, and go. And if you listen,
hit the big bell.
And if you're on the podcast, go to the Society YouTube channel. And yeah, obviously, I'm very looking forward to seeing the finished vlog for LFCC because obviously it's very raw.
You get to hear Adam and Moon do some karaoke.
Did you record that?
I recorded.
Did you record the bowling as well?
No.
Nah.
It was too loud. There were kids right next to us in the lane.
That's true.
But overall, the bowling was fun though. That's good. I think that's got to become a consistent thing the day before now. Do a bit of fun karaoke or bowling or something. Just something fun to do on it. Let's go. But yeah, there you go. You can find out how I got stuck inside the cinema for Thor: Love and Thunder after the film.
Did you vlog that? Oh no,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's sort of things to be excited about.
Did Alex escape? Spoiler, he did. He's here now.
This is a green screen. It turns out I'm still in the cinema right now.
He's been watching Thor: Love and Thunder repeat.
Yeah, exactly. But no, you could, like Rees said, please do go follow the channel. You can follow the Twitter at ThomasPod, which me and I use it for reviews. So if you guys do have opinions, I think we'll be reviewing. Check out the Twitter, and you'll find out what we're reviewing that week. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at ThomasPod, which you currently could be watching this on right now. And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, Google, or Stitch, just do all the things. Oh no, my mind. Shit. No.
Oh. It was for a second. It was just
we're back. The wire tripped itself out. We're back though. Please do. There you go. For things like that, listen to the podcast. You guys also out watching. Please do take care. Like, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Bye.